Hey everybody, today I wanted to do a video on like what my life is now compared to what it was like when I first had chronic OCD. If you can, make sure you like and subscribe down at the bottom, leave any comments about any future videos that you'd like anybody to do. Now, for me, like a lot of this that I'm going to talk about is really just like gratitude. My life has changed so dramatically in the past like 6 years. When OCD was really chronic, I was drinking morning till night. I took ketamine 10 times a day. I could barely work. I just laid down, stared at my phone most of the time. I was in a pretty toxic relationship at the time. I avoided everything that made me uncomfortable. Within 30 seconds of waking up, I would feel my saliva production or my breathing in out constantly. And this was 24/7 for about 2.5 years. I for 2.5 year period felt like I didn't have a single positive feeling. I may have had positive interactions, but I was just so depressed, so down. I had panic attacks 3 to 4 to 5 times a day. I felt like I could never have a long-term relationship because my anxiety was so bad. I felt like I would never be able to hold down a job long-term because my anxiety was so bad. I also felt like I would never be able to have kids. I felt like I was just going to end up in a mental institution, or I would just I wouldn't be able to do anything anymore. My compulsions took up so much of my time when I would wake up in the morning. At the time, I had just got certified as a yoga teacher. I had 3 hernias that happened all at the same time, and I had about a 6-month period of pretty constant pain before the doctors figured it out. So I was really hyper focused on my body sensations, and I was just really uncomfortable all the time. I think I had probably a lot worse body sensations than most people did. But everyone can say that they had it worse or not, but I feel like mine were pretty bad. My compulsions pretty much took over my life. I was a certified yoga teacher, just became certified, and I was doing chanting like every day. I would do that for about 10-15 minutes. I would meditate with like prayer beads. Then I had a really rigid diet. I only ate like anything anti-inflammatory diet. I avoided almost every kind of food you could imagine, besides obviously alcohol. And I avoided anything that made me uncomfortable. When I tell you this, like I just avoided everything. I thought that if I did public speaking, I was going to die. I felt like I was going to have a panic attack, and then I told myself, if I have a panic attack again, I'm going to kill myself. So I linked that to me dying. So I constantly avoided any kind of, any kind of public speaking, which this caused me even more issues, especially with my job, right? I wasn't able to travel and elevate myself. I was always stuck at like entry-level management, just like management position, right? And and just so you guys know, like, I mean, I was in such a bad spot. And I remember I saw, I tried every therapy you can ever imagine. I mean, I did MDR, I did hypnotism, cognitive behavioral therapy. I talked to probably 10 different therapists. They all just told me to go in the center of a room and practice meditating and focusing on my breathing all the time, which didn't help, obviously, anything. It just made it worse and made me more uncomfortable long term. Underneath that, I had issues with relationships. I think so. My main theme was like sensory motor, and then after that it was ROCD, and then after ROCD, I had lots of body sensations, even fear of like dying. I had I think kind of a spectrum, and then it also had times where it would like shift, right? I remember when my body was so like sensitized, my nervous system was. I remember I saw something and I thought about chewing on it, and my teeth would shiver for weeks. I just wake up, it'd shiver for hours during the day because I feel like that's how it was. It was so weird. I was like, I didn't understand it, right? And I remember I saw a post online. This was after me chronically searching Google The only time chronically searching Google ever helped, I was like, oh, I'll just search Instagram, and I found, OCD recovery. I saw a post that said, you are not broken. And, I really resonated because my whole life I told myself there's something wrong with me. I was broken. And I messaged the Instagram, I got a reply back, and it was like, I think I said something along the lines of, hey, I saw this post, resonated with me, really appreciate you. I think I have OCD, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, hey, I can help you, yada, yada, yada. You should talk to me. And I was just like, well, I've tried everything else. Fuck it, So I did it. And we did a meeting. I think in that one meeting, I knew more about OCD and myself than I had spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on other treatments. And I ended up doing it, years forward, I would say. And probably the last 6 years, I've had probably about 3.5 of it with almost no anxiety. I've had stuff come up here and there, but for the most part, I've done really, really well. I have a really good paying job. I have a really nice house that I own. I own some investments. I have a child, a son now. I have a wife. I would say 95% of the time I don't really deal with anxiety much at all. What I'm really trying to point out is I went from being just torn apart and unable to function my whole life, OCD, to now all the things I thought I could never have. I have them, and then I still have room to improve. I still have things that I'm working on, right? But I have tremendously changed the trajectory of my life, right? And I would say that the biggest thing that's held me back from progressing early on was one, I didn't read the books. Two, I didn't dispute. I didn't dispute for a long time. It took me almost 2 years to read all the books. Just read the books. And then 3, just avoidance, long-term avoidance. Some things I would say like, I progressed a lot, and there's still things that I didn't realize that I needed to work on, right? So it's a progression, but robust recovery really can come in a lot shorter time that you think, just by focusing and working on it. So now, you guys, that's my story when it comes to my recovery. And what I'll tell you is there's hope, and it can be hard and difficult at times, but you don't know how close it is, and you have all the tools necessary, right? Like 30 years ago, we would have never been able to get where we are now. We're so lucky that we are living a time where we can recover and we can not have chronic anxiety. It is 100% possible. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for your time.